All right, I hope you watched my 25 to 11 best movies of 2023, but we are now in the top 10 of 2023. Which one of these made your list? Chase Lehocky here with the Blue Futon doing the top 10 movies like I kind of told you. And just a recap, I did 247 movies. Watch that many in this year. So that's why I did top 25 for worst and best. Because you're like, usually people just do top 10, but nah. If I have that many movies, I feel like I should do top 25 through and throughout. But let's just get started, yo. Number 10, Air. Yes, this is another one where another true story. There's so many true stories on this list. Even when looking at going above, there's still more true stories coming up because this is a true story year of fantastic movie making history, and Air was one of them. I like how they did not put Michael Jordan in this movie, even though he didn't want to do it. They really wanted to make it on the people at Nike doing what they were supposed to do. You know, you have Jason Bateman, you have Matt Damon, you have Ben Affleck behind the camera and in front of the camera. Great script. This is witty. It's fun. It is such a good freaking movie. And I want to look at this. Yes, this is the best quote-unquote Amazon movie of the year. So Air is top 10. Watch it. It's about sneakers. Number 9. You might be shocked how low this one is. Oppenheimer. I know a lot of people have Oppenheimer at number 1, 2, or 3. To me, it's a great Christopher Nolan film. It's 3 hours. It's one of those movies, though, where I watch again. And it's a fantastic movie. You get to know this person's lifestyle. But there's just some scenes where I'm like, okay, that's fine, especially with Florence Pugh. Something about that didn't sit right with me even the second and third time watching it. But still, this has a very much a cultural impact of what happened during World War II. And people wonder, oh, he must be a villain. No, if he didn't do it, someone else would have done it. We're at that level in life where, look at Apple, Samsung. It's kind of the same thing with the atomic bomb. But Christopher Nolan made a fantastic movie with Oppenheimer. It is a top 10 movie of the year. But I just personally can't put in my top 5 because these other top 5 truly made the mark. But we're on number 8. So let's talk about number 8. And that is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. This is the only remotely good comic book movie of 2023. And my God, I've seen it multiple times. It holds up all the time. Rocket Raccoon, Bradley Cooper, fantastic freaking job. I mean, the emotional impact James Gunn does for this movie is off the freaking charts. It's hysterical. It's great. I'm surprised this doesn't get a costume and makeup, Oscar shortlist, especially when they're on that different planet. But my God, the villain was ruthless. This is what Marvel did right finally. A good villain, a good story. It connects overall. And am I ready for Guardians Volume 4? Probably not, because, those Guardians are not the same as what we're at right now. But this closed off Volume 3 so well, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was that freaking good. When you could cry for a fake raccoon, you are on the list. Number 7, Guy Ritchie's The Covenant. Jake Gyllenhaal, my boy. I love me some Jake Gyllenhaal movies. He's the one actor, it doesn't matter what movie he's in. I'm watching a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, and he made the list. This is the only one. This is the number. When I say like 90%, this is the highest 90%. The rest are 5-star movies. So The Covenant almost made it. But yeah, this was a fantastic look at, Afghanistan and U.S. soldiers and what they went through and what they have to do to survive. Guy Ritchie behind the camera, fantastic. He's gritty. He's to the point. And I like movies that actually show, casings coming out of guns. And this one does it in most scenes, not all of it. But this is a great freaking film that has stuck with me throughout the year. All right, like I said, we are now in 5 out of 5 territory with these last 6 films. And this number 6 is a Filipino movie called Missing. This is a haunting story about abuse, about trying to suppress what happened in the past, done in a very interesting rotoscope way. It is There's one scene about the 45-50 minute mark where basically it's like up and down, you know how to steer the spaceship. And you're just like, oh my God, how they decide to write and tell this story. It's very smart because this movie, even though it's probably R-rated, like I said in the review before, this is something that can be toned down to show to kids, to show to teenagers, to prove how to, I want to say, come out of that shell, but to know that you're not the victim. It is not your fault, or you're not the problem. You're the victim. That's what I'm trying to say. Is it's a very important film that needs to be seen, and of course it didn't make the, international Oscar shortlist, but it is one where it is very, very, very good. All right, number 5 is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning Part 1. I saw this in theaters twice. To me, it was that freaking good. One in 4DX to figure out what 4DX was going to feel like, because I haven't done one in so long. But my God, Tom Cruise knows exactly what he's doing with this franchise. For being a 2-hour, 45-minute movie, where did the time go? Where the hell did the time go? It was so freaking good, so fast-paced. Steve McQuarrie, I'm saying his name completely wrong, but my God, he knows how to direct and write a freaking movie. He did the writing for Top Gun as well. But Mission Impossible, I cannot wait for Part 2 to come out, which is now 2025, which is very, very sad. But my God, this is an action-packed thriller that kept me so freaking entertained. All right, number 4. You have Paul Giamatti in The Holdovers. This is such a heartwarming film that I could watch over and over again. Alexander Payne knocked it out of the park with this one. And then when looking at the top 10 movies that are probably going to be nominated for the Oscars, this one is the one that tops the list for me. So if I had a choice with everything that the top 10 is going to be, The Holdovers would be the winner. It would be that way because it hits all the right notes. It hits the right storytelling marks. It is funny. It is sad. It talks about life and how not everyone has the perfect life. Don't assume everyone has the perfect life because you don't know what struggles people are going through or the hardships people are going through. My God, The Holdovers, fantastic. It works. It's funny. I had a great freaking time. And again, when looking at the movies that are going to get nominated for Oscar for Best Picture, The Holdovers for me is the winner. All right, okay. Caveat for these top 3, I did not know what to put on 1, 2, and 3. This is where each day it can change. Where I think number 1 is number 3 this time. I think number 3 is number 2 this time. I think number 2 is number 3 this time. I think number 2 is number 1 this time. I think number 1 is number 2 this time. It is that ridiculous where I don't know what to do with these top 3 movies. To me, they're A+ movies, but I went with number 3 being Society of the Snow. This is such a freaking fantastic movie. 2 hours and 25 minutes zooms by. 71 days on the mountain. This plane crash scene was one of the most brutal things I've seen on film. It is that ridiculous. It is, even though it's not that gory, but it puts a new memory in your core of like when something does stop, what happens with gravity and everything on that levels, and you're just thinking, holy shit. It is such a good movie about survival, what you would do to survive for 71 days. This should be nominated for Best Picture of the Year. In my opinion, I think these top 4 absolutely should be. But Society of the Snow, you need to watch it. I'm so glad I waited to do this list before I watched this movie because this movie is that freaking good. And every time this director, because he also directed The Impossible, every time he does these true life stories about tragedy and, the human psyche and the human spirit, J.J. Barretta, I'm saying his name right. I want to say the basketball player, but he knows exactly, J.A. knows exactly what he's doing behind the freaking camera. Number 2, The Iron Claw. Another one where A24, I think, chose the wrong movie. Yes, I know they're doing Past Lives. Yes, I know they're doing other ones. But I'm sorry, Past Lives is going to be one of my most overrated movies of the year. I'm sorry. The Iron Claw is the emotional impact I freaking needed. See, where some people cry at the end of Past Lives, where they're like, oh my gosh, she's married to someone, but the love of her life, is going away. To me, that's whatever. That's something. They're both alive. This isn't. This is fucking real tragedy of suicide, of what this guy went through. Zac Efron's character, the family went through, the horror of it. And just the boat scene itself is going to stick with me until the day I die because it's that freaking good. Like I said, the Iron Claw is the one that made me cry. The Past Lives just made me shrug it off, go, okay, you guys are all alive. To me, a cancer story, a family story about brotherhood. This is the movie to beat. Oh, seriously, like Iron Claw. Even though if you're not a wrestling fan, which I've never really watched a single SmackDown wrestling match unless I was, in like Saudi Arabia. But seriously, the Iron Claw should have been on the top 10 movies of the year. They waited a little bit too long for this one. All right, number one for me is another action movie that stuck with me, John Wick Chapter 4. This movie, another one, another 2 hour and something minute movie that zoomed by. The cinematography is off the freaking chain. The view, the down view, another thing that's going to stick with me forever. Donnie Yen, Keanu Reeves, Sarsgaard. Everyone in this freaking movie knew exactly what they were doing. It is fun. It is one of the best action movies ever. Ever. Like, seriously. This puts The Matrix to shame, in my opinion. Like, the John Wick franchise know exactly what they're doing. That's why Ballerina is my number one anticipated movie of 2024. But to me, like I said, John Wick Chapter 4, fantastic acting, does a great job with its script, with its directing style, with the barely cuts. When you do action movies with hardly any cuts in it, you gotta be on the top movies of the year. But seriously though, John Wick, Society of the Snow, and Iron Claw can switch any day of the week for me. They are primo freaking movies, and they should be on your top 10 list. If it's not on your top 10 list, I want to know why below it isn't. So anyway, that's my top 10 of 2024. Am I crazy? Or am I like, you got good taste, Chase. You got good taste. Or you're like, your taste sucks balls. And I'm like, okay, I guess it sucks balls. Anyway, Chase Talk here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Bhutontopia. You Blue Futons. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I don't care if you watch this tape tomorrow, week from now, month from now, year from now, every single freaking one of you. Enjoy life. And let's just hope 2024 has fantastic movies like these top 10.